Saints training camp practice number 6, the second day in pads. Dennis Allen took this one inside to get out of the heat. Ricardo LeCompte, Doug Mouton. Let's start with this. Mike Thomas talked to us for the first time in training camp. He's got a lot of passes thrown his way in training camp. What stood out to you about what Mike Thomas said and sort of his attitude, the feel of Mike Thomas right now?
Yeah, I'll go with the attitude and that intensity and that chip on the shoulder that he always carries. That came across, of course, today. But there are some legitimate questions as we enter the season with Michael Thomas. And first is obviously availability. And I asked him about, there's a lot of doubters out there that say, hey, you haven't been available for these games. Like, has 3 years, has a game moved past you? And he's like, all right, I do admit I do go hard, but I'm taking this season to kind of hopefully learn from those mistakes from the past and hopefully be able to play out 17-game seasons. He was talking about kind of the off-season program of how he's going through stuff, and it's kind of like some days they have to hold him back. He's had a couple of, you've seen certain spurts during practices where he's been held out of certain drills. He's had a Veterans Day off. And even though Michael Thomas isn't the biggest fan of that, he's learning to kind of just trust the coaches and trust that this should be the plan for him so you can have that longevity for 17 games, because we just haven't seen that from Michael Thomas. He's missed an entire season 2 years ago. He only played 3 games last year before he injured his toe and had to have season-ending surgery. So that's kind of where his mindset is hey, I got to be able to be durable for these 17 games. In terms of on the field, as we've seen through training camp, we're kind of seeing how he's going to be utilized here within this offense. And most of the things that we've noticed in these drills, they're getting to the ball to him early. And it's not like they're getting, like it's a go routes or it's like post down the middle. It's just what he's good at. It's getting open in those 3 to 5 yard windows on slants, on outs, whatever, to just get open. That's going to probably be his game in 2023 in the season, because he doesn't have the same top end speed like he's had when he started his career. He's a different player in terms of that, and especially when you've had ankle and toe surgeries, you're not at that point. So there may be an evolution in terms of him being strictly good at doing that, but he's certainly not the receiver that he was in that 2019, 2018 season when he's putting up historic numbers. But if the Saints can get at least a good, productive Michael Thomas where he's giving you 70, 80 catches in his offense, getting those big third downs, then he can have a place here and get back to what he was in terms of being good and serving this offense.
Okay, multiple things. First of all, I don't know if you could hear the water bottle crunkling. That was Foster Morrow walking past us, and I looked at him and he apologized if we're crunkling the water bottle too loudly.
Luckily we've got Mike, so he didn't hear that. So Foster, you're good. You're good.
No one's too loud for Ricardo and I. Look, second thing, I talked to Pete Carmichael one-on-one. We're going to have that extended interview with Pete Carmichael on our Eye on the Black and Gold training camp special. That's Wednesday night at 6:30 on Channel 4. And I asked Pete, I was like, this is clearly something you guys are doing on purpose to go from Derek to Mike Thomas early in every team drill, every day. And he smiled, and it is absolutely something and look, it's what this team needs. The third thing is, I agree with you, we haven't seen Mike Thomas show his top-end speed yet. Not that he won't, not that he can't, but it's not there yet, and that is a concern until we see it. And then the fourth thing I'd say, maybe the single most interesting thing I heard from Mike Thomas today, he was talking about Marshawn Lattimore, who I think has had a great camp. And he said he believes Lattimore has another level he can go up, which to me is stunning, because Lattimore is already one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. And I asked Dennis Allen yesterday about Lattimore's ability to make everybody else better, and Dennis Allen 100% agreed, because what Lattimore does is you can put him on an island with their best receiver, and whatever extra help you have, you can roll it to everybody else. So literally the other 10 players on defense get better when Lattimore's on top of his game, and he has been on top of his game this camp.
There was one other thing I wanted to add with the Michael Thomas thing before we kind of move on here, and he was asked, are you at 100% right now? And he said no, like he never said I'm at 100%. Right. He's still getting there. So at least he's acknowledged that point, that he's not there. So when you were talking about him reaching that top end speed, maybe he's not there. We haven't seen it in camp yet because he's still trying to work back to get to 100%. This is why he has to follow this process of getting him ready and ramp up toward the regular season.
Okay, observations from today's practice. What was today called?
It was called tight end Tuesday.
There were like 4 straight plays
it really was.
in a 7-on-7 drill that went to tight ends. And we heard, I'm not even sure who it was, one of the assistant coaches yell, "It's tight end Tuesday," from the back. And from then on, that theme continued. We saw Lucas Kroll make multiple plays. We saw Foster Moreau make his single best play of this training camp. Goes up high, down the sideline in a team drill once we moved indoors. Terrific play. We saw Juwan Johnson get loose. We saw Jimmy Graham make multiple catches. We saw Jesse James make multiple catches. It was tight end Tuesday.
Yeah, and Dennis Allen afterwards was saying that this kind of tight end room, in terms of like everybody can do something good. They have the ability to, whether it's pass catching, whether it's blocking. He likes the versatility that's in this room now. Now some of the tight ends are going to have to show that they can do other things in terms of making this roster. But as we're kind of breaking this down of the tight ends, and we go, all right, so we know Juwan Johnson is probably slotted as the guy who's going to make the roster because of his production last year. And then Foster Moreau, he's been in this league for a while now.
He's a red zone guy.
He's a red zone guy, and he has that relationship with Derek Carr. Then after that, you're kind of like, all right, who can get a place on this tight end? And this is where I know last week when we were kind of talking about Jimmy Graham and where he fits in this roster, this is why he does have actually a better shot at making it, is because as you're looking now, like, even though he does one specialized thing,
he does it so
and
well.
If he can show that he does it so well, then he does have a place in his roster, because you look at the wide receivers and you go outside of Olave and outside Rashid Shaheed as your guys who are going to be the burners, and outside maybe Michael Thomas in the middle, where's your playmaking coming from the wide receiver position? So it does have to come from tight end. And if Jimmy Graham can show that he can at least be that, I'm saying shades of what he was when he was a Pro Bowl, then you have another weapon that you can throw out there. And right now, as we're looking at the depth of the wide receivers, you go, who's that guy that can do that?
Tight end helps make up.
Tight end does make up for that, and that's where Jimmy Graham could possibly have a role here on this roster.
And I will say this too: a lot of people immediately when they sign Jimmy Graham say Lucas Kroll's gone. I like Lucas Kroll. I like what he does. He's a huge body who has made every catch, but he's also a guy who can help you block, and I like Lucas Kroll. Okay, one other guy, because we're going to wrap this up in a minute, one other guy that every single day I've written his number down is Peyton Turner. Made a play, jumped out for me. He's not making 10 plays a day, but every day he is showing up. He's starting on that opposite side from Cam Jordan today. James Hurst again, starting at left guard today with Andres Pete out. But Peyton Turner's a guy that keeps jumping out to me. Give one for you.
And it's Kendre Miller, the rookie running back, and the big emphasis of him this camp is that he's getting passes thrown to him. And he's been every day, either it's in team drills or whatever, they're actively trying to get the ball out to him in space when he's throwing. And he's showing so far that he can do that ability of receiving and being able to be effective in that game. Now, we're going to see this in the preseason games if that translates over. But so far, early in camp, Kendre Miller is showing that he can be that pass-catching running back.
All right, Ricardo LeCompte, Doug Mouton, that's going to wrap it up for practice number 6 for the Saints. On Wednesday, they are back in pads. Practice number 7, they get a day off Thursday, so Wednesday is a big practice for the Saints.